Hi, and welcome to the Oikos Family Podcast. I'm Sonja Wood, and today I'm going to be sharing with you Chapter 2 from our little Oikos Classic, the next one in the line being Weed with an Ill Name. And in Chapter 2, we're going to learn some things about selfishness and pride and arrogance as we go on a little journey with George and Fanny as they settle into living with their aunt and uncle on the farm. And so I do hope that you will find this chapter to be one that you will be able to glean something from. And once again, thank you for joining me, and I do hope you enjoy this next chapter. Bye for now.
Chapter 2. 2 More Letters. Children's trials usually are not so deeply seated as those of older people. They are also more willing to accept hopeful ideas and to enjoy the present. George and Fanny shed many tears as they parted from their parents. They almost certainly hoped for a happy meeting again when their dear father would be healthy and strong. In the meantime, they excitedly looked forward to visiting their uncle and aunt in the countryside. It is not surprising that after only a few days had gone by, they began to enjoy their life at the Elms. Though, in many ways, the farm was quite different from their own home. Their loving and wise relatives did every thoughtful and reasonable thing they could think of to make them happy. Maybe the best way to prove this is by showing 2 letters very nearly as they were written. George and Fanny wrote these, without any help from their aunt and uncle, to their parents a week or 2 after they arrived at the Elms. The first letter is from George Franklin, who was about 11 years old. My dear father and mother, I promised to write you soon. I'm going to do it now, because it is a very rainy day. I can't go out to play in the fields. The day after you went on board ship, we had a very good train ride from London. Everything was already packed and ready to go, you know. We just had to have our trunks and bags sent to the station. We followed behind them in a taxi. The taxi was very dirty, and it was all Robert's fault. He could have chosen a better one if he wanted to. I think he did it to tease me. I did not care. Then we got into a railroad car, which was very clean and nice. When we reached the Westshire station, Uncle James was waiting for us with his buggy and a strong horse. Did you know that the Elms is more than 5 miles from Westshire? It was not a plain old buggy, it was a gentleman's buggy. It was nice enough for anybody to ride in, so I didn't mind. Of course, Uncle James does have a carriage. It is rather old-fashioned and made for the country. He had to take the buggy because we had so much luggage. I haven't seen Uncle James for so many years. He says it has been 5 or 6 years since he was in London. I wouldn't have recognized him if Aunt Rachel hadn't pointed him out. She looked out the window when the train stopped and said, "Fanny and George, there is your uncle." Then I looked out too. I saw a tall person who was wearing a dull old coat and a straw hat. Even so, I like Uncle James a lot. He is very, very good to me. He has even given me a pony to ride almost every day. I got a straw hat like his now, and it is so comfortable. I wear it out in the harvest fields and when I am riding. I have a nice room, and so does Fanny. They have pretty beds and dressers. Of course, they aren't as nice as our rooms at home. We shouldn't expect that, since this is such an old farmhouse. Aunt Rachel is really very kind. We all eat and read together in the parlor. There are 3 maids, but there aren't any manservants. They only have a man who works in the yard and garden. His name is Sam. He cleans tools, the barn, and other things. He does not help serve our meals, and I am glad. He is not fit at all to come near anybody. Our Robert is much cleaner. Besides him, there are 4 farm servants who sleep in the house. They all have breakfast, dinner, and supper in a large hallway. Of course, we don't have anything to do with them. I go out into the harvest fields with Uncle James. He is very busy now. His men are, cutting down corn. Uncle James expects harvest to be over in about a month. A teacher is going to come 3 times a week from Westshire to give me lessons. I don't know what kind of a man he is. I haven't seen him yet. Aunt Rachel is going to teach Fanny. I guess you know all about that. I can't think of anything else to say. I hope Father will get well soon. I wish I were with you. It would be so much fun to be on a ship, and I would like to see different countries. I think I will be very happy here until you come home again. I'm going to like it better here than being at school anyway. Your loving son, George Franklin. P.S. Aunt Rachel is going to write to you, and Fanny already wrote. I don't have any messages to put in from them. Letters often reveal more of their writer's true character than the writers would like. The above letter does not exactly show George Franklin's good side. Some of his selfishness and arrogance, as well as a little pride, are there for everyone to see. It sticks out in the very first sentence, when he says he did not write to his parents in order to make them happy. He wrote because there was nothing better to do on that rainy day. Every part of the letter proves how much he was only thinking of himself and what he enjoyed. How little he thinks of any other person shows. He is so concerned about how people dress and look. Even when he mentions his father and his illness, he does not seem to care very much. He doesn't even ask how his mother is getting along. It is true that he writes some thoughtful, kind things about his uncle and aunt. This is because they give him what he likes. It is easy to imagine that he already half despises them for not being as rich as his own parents, and for not showing off what they do have. The way he speaks about his future teacher and his uncle's servants proves that his mother was right. She said he was proud and arrogant towards those he thinks are beneath him. We will not be too hard on George Franklin. He did have kinder feelings in his heart than he showed with his pen. Now, let's read Fanny's letter. It is shorter than her brother's. My dearest Mama, I am so glad I can finally write to you and tell you how much I love you and dear, dear Papa. It makes me so sad when I think about how sick he is and how worried it makes you. I hope I won't upset you when I tell you that I cry myself to sleep almost every night. I think about you both all the time. I wish I could see you. I want to hug you again and again and tell you how much I love you and how sorry I am. I hope I never did anything to upset you or make you sad. Oh, Mama, please make Papa get well as soon as you possibly can. I'll be so glad when you come home and when Papa is as strong as he used to be. Please, Mama, don't think that I'm not happy. I am as happy as I could possibly be away from home and you. Aunt and Uncle are so kind and good. Aunt Rachel has started giving me lessons. I like her for a teacher much better than I did Miss Giles. She explains everything so nicely. It's because she really understands the lessons. You didn't think Miss Giles did, remember? We also take such nice walks together. We have gone out and picked blackberries 2 or 3 times. Uncle James is such a godly man. He reads the Bible and prays every morning and evening in the servants' hall. There are 3 servants. One is a housemaid, one is a cook. The other one helps milk the cows. I'm so excited, Mama, because Aunt Rachel told me that she will teach me how to make butter if I want. I shall be very, very happy here if I know that you and dear Papa are well, safe, and happy. Please write to me all the time, dear Mama, and don't forget me. Your loving daughter, Fanny Franklin. P.S. Aunt Rachel and George are both going to write to you. Anyway, I hope George will. He says he is very busy, and that if he doesn't write I am to send his love in my letter. Mama, please kiss dear Papa 20 times for me. Tell him he must get well soon, so he can come home to his little Fanny. Fanny's letter shows what a kind-hearted, loving little girl she was. We shall see more of her as our story continues.